Welcome back. We continue right here on Pittsburgh CW with the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani, Ron Cook with you at 412-575-2600. West Virginia basketball, just so you know, won its 13th straight game tonight. They beat Kansas State. They're 2-0 now.
Both on the road.
Both on the road. They're coming home on Saturday to Morgantown to take on Oklahoma and a kid named Trey Young. If you've never seen the kid in that area, you should get to that game. That'll be fun to watch. Tomorrow, Pitt at Louisville at the KFC Yum Center. Ron, I don't know about what to expect out of Pitt this year. Being competitive, being involved in games, getting better as they go, but it's going to be hard to put a win total together with it.
Wasn't last year Louisville beat them by like 55, right?
Here.
That was here. Now I know Patino's gone and things have changed. Kentucky just absolutely killed Louisville the other day. Hard for me to get excited about Pitt basketball, and I'm the guy who used to follow them all over the country and loved every minute of it.
Me too.
I have a hard
Big East tournament was one of our favorite
both of our
places.
favorite things, yeah, and I have a hard time getting into it now. Huggins has got it going at West Virginia. They got Kentucky coming here in January. Well, it is January, a couple weeks towards the end of the month. But Oklahoma coming up Saturday would be really a lot of fun.
And we have this tweet on Twitter. It's at KDPomp, at Ron Cook PG. It's from Timothy Hammer. Says, any news on Penguin deals, # need a change. I will say this, Ron. I don't know if I'd be willing to give up the core of the team right now, as I said earlier, because I do think it's just a fatigue issue more than anything, in my view. They've played a lot of hockey. That doesn't excuse the fact that guys can't score who are paid to score, but I do think there is a reality to that. I don't know if I'd sacrifice big pieces to make changes now. Right. I would try to do something, but I don't know how big I'd go. What about you?
I hear Letang. I'm not interested in trading Letang. I think he's had a horrible year, but I still think he's a really good player. I still can't believe they won the Cup last year without him, but he looks like a different player this year, but he's coming off major neck surgery. Who else are you going to trade? I mean, I guess you trade a Gensel would be a major deal. Hornquist is in the last year of his deal, but he brings so much to the team. I can't imagine him being traded. You hear Ian Cole all the time. Is that going to bring you a lot in return? It's going to shake things up a little bit, but major deals, I'm not sure we're going to see one of those.
I think you might get one from Hornquist only if there's a team out there that would be willing to give you a lot, knowing he's an unrestricted free agent, and would be willing to sign him before he ever gets to that. In other words, we're going to acquire him and sign him immediately. Therefore, we don't have to worry about free agency.
But they have nobody else that does.
No, I know. He's a unique guy. And no Kunitz
did some of it, but not like Hornquist does.
Alex in Pittsburgh, you're up. What's up, Alex?
Hi, Bob. Happy New Year.
You too.
Thank you. I would like to talk about Juju Smith-Schuster.
Okay, go ahead.
So, if anything happened to Antonio Brown in the playoffs and he happened to get hurt the first game and say the Steelers advanced to second round, do you think Juju Smith-Schuster and Ben Roethlisberger would have a good connection in that Juju Smith-Schuster would be able to carry the Steelers on offense with Antonio Brown?
I think they need it's going to be hard for them to. Thanks, Alex, for the call. It's going to be hard to do.
I mean, before Antonio got hurt, some people thought he could be the MVP of the league.
I did. I thought
he was just picked by his teammates last week as MVP of the team. You're obviously weakened without him. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he's going to be ready to go in 13 days in that first playoff game.
Oil City, our next destination. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, I'm definitely concerned about the speed in the Steelers linebacker core right now, and Mitchell looks like all of his angles are bad. Speed looks like to be a factor there. And the other thing is, why don't we run Ben on a naked bootleg down in the goal line area on first or second down? Nobody's looking for him. They're all looking for Bell.
You're right about that, but, Ben has showed me a willingness to run this year that I haven't seen. I mean, he's tucking it in when he has to get first down.
He tells me he's dangerous. He says, I still got the wheels, Yeah, speed is a concern without Shazier. There's no question. Sean Spence has done a nice job, but he's no Shazier.
No.
That's a
Nobody
loss.
is on that team.
That's a loss that you have to overcome. They've give up some big plays. They've taken some bad angles. The caller is right. They got to figure out a way to tighten it up. No question.
Bob in Ford City is our next caller. Hey, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
About the Pitt coaching changes there on the football team.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out for worked out for Cheney pretty good with Georgia winning.
Yeah.
But they reported on the SEC channel that Matt Canada's in trouble with Ed Ogeron down there over personality and philosophical differences.
Right.
And that's
he
true
got a big paycheck to go down there, though. And I think he wants to be a head coach somewhere, and he might get an opportunity. I thought Canada was tremendous here at Pitt last year. For some reason, the fit at LSU didn't work except on payday, and it worked. I think he was getting $1.5 million down there to be.
But didn't he go on with a different head coach?
No, I think.
Was Orgeron there? I thought. Okay.
Hired him.
I thought that was.
Just didn't work out, and they said he's on the move. They got beat today at the very end,
they
right
did.
by Notre Dame.
Eric in Oakmont. Hello, Eric. Eric.
Hey,
What's
how's
up?
it going? Good, how are you?
Go ahead.
Hey, I was just wondering, how will we face against the Steelers or the Patriots?
Okay, we're out of time, unfortunately.
Better worry about either Jacksonville, Kansas City, or Tennessee at this.
Most likely Jacksonville.
Most likely, if the chalk holds, Kansas City goes to New England, and Jacksonville comes here. And Buffalo, I don't give much chance in Jacksonville. Shady McCoy is hurt. Did you see that? He was pounding the ground. He had his head.
But
didn't look good.
X-rays were negative.
But they're saying there's a chance he can play. But man, that's tough to come back in a week.
I think the AFC is much easier now with those two teams in. I'm talking about Tennessee and Buffalo as opposed to Baltimore or even the Chargers. The Chargers were going to be a tough team out, I think.
I think the NFC is much stronger, much more competitive. I don't know who's going to come out of there. I think those games in New Orleans should be a great game on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to that. And then the Rams and
how about all those quarterbacks involved? You got really good quarterbacks in every one of those games. And Philadelphia, which has the tough or the number one seed, they don't have it. And you wonder how Nick Foles will be able to make up for Carson Wentz. I don't think he can. We'll see. We got to take a break. Back with more right after this on Pittsburgh CW.